Well, this is it. We are down to the final two after a final week of playoff hockey before the Stanley Cup Final, where for the 45th consecutive year, a former Jagr teammate will play for the Cup. How wild is that? Now, this week had a little bit of everything. We saw some great saves, awesome fans, we saw doubles, as how does this look-alike somehow look more like Chris Knobloch? And we had plenty of drama, my goodness.
Some coach wanted to get on camera. It's the only thing I can figure out.
You know, he's lost 6 to 7 games.
Especially in a moment like that, it's really embarrassing, yeah.
As just all around, we got some great sound bites.
I'm only a year older than these guys, man. I don't know why you think I'm 40.
Dallas forwards, Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman.
Edmonton forwards.
What did I say? Dallas. Oh boy, sorry boys.
Sometimes you say a prayer, sometimes you shotgun a beer.
Have a good summer.
But before we get to it, with the NHL and Bettman continuing to make posting difficult, I'd like to thank SeatGeek. Are you looking to get a taste of the chaos yourself? Then let me introduce you to SeatGeek, because with the NHL playoffs in full swing, it makes right now the perfect time to get out of the house to catch a live game. And that is exactly why I want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, which includes everything from concerts to festivals and, of course, sports. So, whether you're looking for tickets to an MLB game, the NBA playoffs, or the NHL playoffs, well, SeatGeek's got you covered. This right here was Game 2, Blues-Jets. There's nothing quite like it. And you know I came through for you guys. You can use code NEXTMANUP10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code NEXTMANUP10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. All right, with that, let's get into it with the Eastern Conference Final, where the Carolina Hurricanes did it. They finally broke their conference final losing streak after 15 straight losses, led by Stankoven scoring a nasty one to open Game 4, started with a beauty of a pass from Nikishin, and then Stanky with it. What a shot. And so with Nikishin picking up his first point and Stankoven opening the scoring, how does Jarry feel about these new young guys?
I'm only a year older than these guys, man. I don't know why you think I'm 40.
I love it. It was a solid game for Carolina, though. Slavin doing his thing, sitting down Barkov. We saw Orlov laying down Boqvist. And how about this from Kotkaniemi? Dude, what the hell? First the charge, then the elbow, and striking out, he swung the stick.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
But Florida, of course, no stranger to this game. Kulikov throwing down Stanky Boy, Tkachuk with a sneaky little trip, but also, this was interesting. Stahl called for hooking, but Tkachuk also called for embellishment? He couldn't believe it as Stahl mocked him from behind. But noteworthy in this one, Anderson was back in between the pipes, and he picked up a shutout while facing elimination. On the other end, while Bob played solid as well, he did give up those 2 empty netters back to back.
I didn't like the last two at all. This gap was horse shit.
With the dub, though, the sweep was avoided. The Eastern Conference Final losing streak was broken, and back to Carolina they went, where the Canes got off to another excellent start. Not just the game opener, but with back-to-back goals from Aho, they were up 2-0, and this fan putting a spell on Bob seemed to be working out. The nasty was there again, as well as these two teams scrumming it up. We saw Carrier cross-check Losterinen, getting him pretty good. He also got himself pretty good, some self-inflicted CTE there. And then, would you be surprised if Bennett went at Anderson with his elbow? Of course not. We saw Svechnikov chopping trees on Ekblad, but as good as the Canes' first period was, these Panthers are just relentless. Tkachuk redirecting one from Ekblad, Bennett then connecting with Rodriguez for his first of the series, and 4 minutes after that, Lundell from Marchand. But just when you thought the Canes were maybe gonna do it, you got a stark reminder that, oh yeah, Sasha Barkov is an absolute freaking animal. What a goal. He outbattles Orlov, sends Olofsson deep sea water fishing while connecting with Verswegi, and crushed any hope Carolina may have had, as for the 3rd straight time, the Florida Panthers punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup Final. Now, what was odd at the end of this one was this interaction between Brind'Amour and Maurice. Congrats, you got one this time. No, I watched those games, Paul. We didn't get swept last time either.
That's not what happened. I watched the game. We didn't get We didn't lose 4 games.
No, but what Paul really said was,
I don't believe that the coaches should shake players' hands. I don't know where it changed. Some coach wanted to get on camera. Is the only thing I can figure out.
I kind of see where he's coming from. I do, however, also think moments like these are cool to see, so I don't know. I didn't think it was a huge deal either way, but congrats to the Canes on a season I actually think they overachieved in and should be proud of. But
Have a good summer.
with that, let's move over to the West, where since this moment back at the end of Game 1 I covered in the last video, the Stars never led another second in this series. It's insane, as the Oilers once again opened the scoring in Game 4. We also saw tempers flare a bit in this one, and this was nasty all right. After taking that chopper to the foot from Nurse in Game 1, which Hintz confirmed fractured his foot, Hintz was back for Game 4, and Bouchard checking out just how bad it was. Granlund in the first also knocked the wind out of Perry. Not sure if he just didn't see him or if this was intentional, but took him out temporarily. However, the big one in this game was Marchand, not just hitting himself, but also hitting Hyman. Now, this didn't look like anything crazy, but Hyman left the game, and the player with the most goals and second most hits in the last 2 playoffs combined was now not just out for this game, but for the remainder of these playoffs. Brutal news, obviously, and so despite giving one back in the second with Robertson lost but finally found scoring, the Oilers just over 2 minutes later got it right back. Nugent-Hopkins with a beautiful feed under the stick of Ceci finds Perry, and for the 4th straight game to open this conference final, RNH with 2 points. One of just 4 players in NHL history to do so, as the Oilers were able to rally for Hyman, a couple of ENGs to cap this one off, and now had the Stars on the ropes headed back to Dallas. Now, while I thought Otter had a good Game 4, he let in just 2 goals on 31 shots, apparently the leash was short, because after the Oilers, with Ekholm back in the lineup, showed us they came to play, scoring on not just the first shot of the game, but both the first and second shots on net in Game 5.
Dimples, 0. Blackheads, 0. Blemishes, 0.
Save percentage?
0.
I'm sorry, Stars fans, but Pete DeBoer would call timeout, and we saw it back in Vegas with Fleury, and yet again, a moment of silence for another goalie victim, as Oettinger, who was already halfway back to his net, was called back and pulled just 7 minutes into the game. The Stars' newly signed starting goaltender was out in favor of DeSmith, who hadn't played in over a month, where DeSmith let in the 3rd goal shortly after. And who is that boy?
My name is Jeff.
Jeff Skinner. Having played 1,078 regular season games, he scored his first career playoff goal after 15 seasons in the NHL. However, while the Stars made a valiant effort to get back to within just a goal in this game, Connor freaking McDavid did Connor freaking McDavid things, scoring a ridiculous game winner. Shout out to Hintz for even staying with him with that broken foot. But with Skinner again putting together some beautiful stops, he is a new man. And with this right here about summing up this game and the series as a whole for the Stars, which yes, this also was Otter's fault, they would lose this game. After which, here's Pete DeBoer just tossing Otter under the bus.
You know, the reality is, he's lost 6 of 7 games to Edmonton, and status quo had not been working, and that's a pretty big sample size.
It was one thing to do him dirty pulling him so fast, but to double down after the game like this, I don't know. I thought it was insane.
It sucks. It's embarrassing. You just want to go right off the ice and crawl into your bed, especially in a moment like that. It's really embarrassing, yeah.
And bringing this look up one more time, the Oilers outscored the Stars 19-5 from this moment on. But yes, only Otter is to blame for it all. Having said all of that, though, the Edmonton Oilers are headed back to the Stanley Cup Final. And while the Panthers, as they did last year, didn't touch the Prince of Wales trophy, this year the Oilers did decide to touch the Clarence S. Campbell, and check this out.
Don't touch it last year, don't win. Touch it this year, hopefully we win.
Fair enough. What's insane about this rematch, too, is that not only did Tkachuk call it last year, Hyman did as well.
I know we're going to be back.
know we're going to be back, boys.
And I've also got to mention these two old crows. Corey Perry became the first player in NHL history to make the Cup Final with 5 different clubs last year, and now, with him headed back again, he has played 231 playoff games since the year 2000. Just look at how that compares to other entire franchises. It's incredible. On the Panthers end, I can't help but think back to this moment when Brad Marchand could have ended the Panthers season in 2023. How different things could have been, but instead, here he is now heading to the Cup Final with that very team. What a story. And so, with the rematch set, how will it play out? Well, it's the third back-to-back final in 45 years, and both times the losing team, the first time around, won it the second time around. So, will McDavid finally get his? It should be electric. Last year, the Oilers, I felt, and I mean, you can't say anyone flukes their way to the final, obviously, but I do think they had a very emotional run, and I don't know how to say it, but they just didn't seem as stable. This year, though, they have felt like a deep, experienced, poised hockey team the whole way through, led by something just a little more believable, if that makes sense. They went through the Kings, then the Knights, and now the Stars in fairly dominating fashion, and I think they are a better Oilers team than they were last year. However, as for these Florida Cats, though, man, third year in the final for a reason. This team is just so well-rounded. The goaltending, the grit they have, the way they play, great leadership. They're very deep as well, and just they are the standard right now. What can you really say? So to me, this series is a coin flip. I can't say with confidence who I think takes it. If you're forcing me to pick, I maybe lean slightly Florida, but I don't know. You let me know your thoughts and predictions below. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate it very much. This series has once again been fun to do. I hope you enjoyed it, and who knows, maybe we see a Stanley Cup edition of the playoffs are out of control. I'll see you in the next one.